Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. October 25, 2019, The Boys and Their Toys edition. First up, the Houston Astros finally came to their senses and fired Brandon Taubman for his clubhouse outburst about the Astros signing Roberto Osuna, who was directed, and his outburst directed at three female reporters following Game 6 of their victory on Saturday to clinch the American League pennant. The Astros had originally said that the report by the Sports Illustrated reporter, who was one of the subjects of the outburst, was a flat-out lie, and then they backtracked that because it was not a fabricated story. It was confirmed by multiple sources. And finally, the Astros came to their senses, fired Taubman for a really inappropriate outburst, and admitted they had done the wrong thing and moved forward from there. So good to see the Astros finally answer something right around that issue. Next up, the Inspector General over at the Department of Veteran Affairs looked at how an office formed to protect whistleblowers in the VA was in fact used by VA management to stifle claims and retaliate against those trying to expose problems at the agency. This very troubling report noted that the office's first executive director, Peter O'Rourke, used the position to not only stifle claims, but retaliate against employees the organization had been designed to protect. O'Rourke leveraged his power as head of the whistleblower office to end investigations into allies and failed to provide basic reports to Congress. The VA tried to deflect by saying that the report focused on officials who were no longer at the department and did not address improvements made since those person's departure. Nevertheless, a very sordid and sad story from the Veteran Affairs Department about how it used a whistleblower office completely inappropriately. Next up, Citgo finally got some good news from the U.S. government as the Trump administration moved to protect the Venezuelan-owned refining company from creditors by closing a narrow loophole on sanctions intended to topple the Venezuelan government. Citgo faced dismemberment if the Venezuelan National Oil Company did not make a $913 million payment on its 2020 bonds due Monday, but those transactions were blocked for 90 days. The effect is twofold. One, the Venezuelan government does not have to make the bond payment, but more importantly, creditors who were lining up literally at the gates to dismember Citgo because of judgments against the Venezuelan government, PDVSA or Citgo, can now no longer do so because the company will no longer be in default. So good news for Citgo, and actually it's probably good news for the Venezuelan government, but it's something that the United States probably needed to do. And finally, our lead story, Boys and Their Toys in The Guardian. A groundbreaking analysis finds some $300 billion of suspected funds funneled through the United Kingdom for super yachts and private jets. The 421 luxury homes, 3 super yachts, 7 private jets, as well as private school fees, and even a hovercraft have been revealed in a groundbreaking analysis of more than 400 money laundering and corruption cases. Transparency International found that more than $300 billion of suspected funds had been funneled through the UK banking system, law firms, and accountants. This suspected cash comes from corrupt officials' embezzlement, bribery, and corruption, literally across the globe. So the United Kingdom comes under some scrutiny for this. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio.